Hello, everybody. This is Javier Hernandez, and welcome back to Los Comics TV. We're well into the second week of the new year, 2024, so figured it's time to get the old show up and running again. So we'll call this the 2024 season. So here's our first episode for the year. I hope everybody has a great 2024 and good health, and may you accomplish all your goals, whatever they may be. So here, what are we looking at here? So you can't even see everything I have laid out here, but I have a 24 volume set. This is number 1, 2, 10, and in the background is who's it? 9 through 24, and I still got some other ones on the side. This is Tetsujin-28. It's a Japanese manga. You may recognize the character as Gigantor from the 1963, I believe, a cartoon series that we got over here in the U.S. as Gigantor, because at the time the Iron Man comic was already up and running. So Tetsujin-28 literally translates to Iron Man number 28, so they couldn't use the Iron Man name. So Fred Ladd, the producer who brought the cartoon over here to the U.S., renamed it Gigantor, which is, very well known by that name to Western audiences. So anyway, these are the original manga created by Mitsuteru Yokoyama. Mangaka, he lived from 1934 to 2004. Unfortunately, he passed away. I guess it said he was smoking in bed, and the place caught fire, unfortunately. So the man died of fire, which is pretty horrible way to go. But he did leave behind a huge body of work, in addition to Tetsujin-28. He's also the creator of another TV show that over here called Johnny Sacco and His Flying Robot. Over there it was called Giant Robo, and it was a manga he did in the late 60s, and then they immediately made a live action TV show out of it. So he's known for 2 giant robots at least, and then of course there's a lot of other villainous robots, but his 2 heroic robots are Tetsujin-28 and Giant Robo. So anyway, 28 volume set here. Tetsujin-28. I'll just call him Gigantor to make it easy on me. Created in the 1950, was it, what I say, 53? 56. So he was created, believe it or not, in the story as a weapon for the Japanese Imperial Army or Navy, I guess. At the end, closing days of World War II, he was meant to assist them against the U.S. Yeah, he's got those type of historical origins, But of course, the war ended. Japan was defeated by atomic bombs dropped by the U.S. So they never had a chance to, get the robot up and running. I guess lucky for us, right? So then years later, the robot gets activated, and it becomes not a weapon of war, but a weapon of justice and peace, and taking on this evil organization called Big Fire. And the robot is controlled by this young boy, Shotaro. He has control of the robot with a little control box, which is I think that's it there. It's hard to tell. The comic styling here, because it's in the 50s in Japan, pretty much like Osamu Tezuka with Kimba and such. It's very cartoony. It's almost like a Disney comic, because Disney was really popular, influential over there back in the day. So some of the early mangaka kind of adopted that style. So you get this really interesting cartoony, or actually a better word, cutesy looking comic book about this boy and his giant robot. The boy Shotaro's working for the police with the inspector, and there's a scientist guy, and he's yet to appear. So there's a bad guy robot on the march. And let's see. So anyway, here he is. Here he is. I'm trying to see where he first appears. Yeah, he's chained. I guess he was chained up. Might have been from the war, but he looks different. I mean, his nose got smaller in the later stories. Again, he did these over about 10 years. So yeah, that's the first episode of the first appearance of Tetsujin-28. I'll just jump ahead to like volume 10. Yeah, here's some of the ones. I mean, it was great getting these in the big old box, real chunky, heavy box, and I haven't actually opened them all yet. As you can see, this one's still wrapped in the plastic. More than half I've gone through, but I'm taking my time with these, so I still got, you know, some of the final ones to still open up and go through. I'm not sure what year each particular story is. I'm assuming these are printed chronologically. So this is volume 10 out of 24, almost halfway through. But yes, a lot of times he'd use bigger panels too, which is nice. This is one of the most famous adversaries, Black Ox. And there's Tetsujin-28. And I think Black Ox showed up in several of the stories. And like so much in Japan, you know, these properties get merchandised to death. And even today, they're still making Tetsujin-28 figures and toys and, you know, dolls. This is a great one with he fights Frankenstein, this giant Frankenstein monster. There's some really cool fight scenes in here. I should have tagged them, but it gives you a chance to look through the book, check out the art styling. I mean, look how clean the line work is. It almost looks like it's done like vector drawing, if you're familiar with that, like Adobe Illustrator. I'm always impressed by these guys with these super clean line work. A Manta Ray ship, of course, right? Why not? There's a thing about Shotaro. These comics, these old comics, Japan, maybe even here, but I haven't seen too many 50s comics. But the kid is brandishing a weapon. First of all, the fact that, you know, Japan handguns are, I guess, not legal. So the fact that a private citizen's using it, even though he's working with the cops, but the fact that it's a kid, it's pretty wild. Yeah, he shoots at the bad guys, and you know the Tetsujin-28 is, you know, getting rid of the bad guys, but it's all for justice and peace, so it's okay. But it's just all fun, innocent fun, and let's see, and let me pull out another random volume here. Give me a second, I'm trying to check something here on the side. So it's basically the Giant Robo series, the Johnny Sacco. Pretty much the same thing. It's about a boy controlling a giant robot as he works for like a Japanese peacekeeping organization and fighting an evil organization. So it's the same basic setup, except it's done in live action. The TV show, that is. The manga didn't run for too long, and I actually have as far as I know, the only 2 volumes of it that they published. I don't think it was a long-running manga. But it's definitely, the TV show is still well known today, as is the Gigantor cartoon and the theme song, which I'm not going to sing for you folks here, but you can do a quick look up and find the original online. You'll even find one by punk band The Dickies, Gigantor, so look that up. Pretty fun stuff. So here's just more of the covers. Again, this is a nice volume. This is a nice set. They're kind of medium sized for Japanese books. And the art's pretty clear in it. And again, he doesn't do any gray tones. Or even zip-a-tone, I don't think. It's just black and white, or it's just the black ink on the paper. And whatever, you know, whatever marks and cross-hatching he does. Yeah, this is all hand-drawn, these pinstripe suits and the little dots on the suit. So... this guy, here he is. Well, if the kid can shoot at the bad guys, that means the bad guys can shoot at the kid too. So it's everything goes here. But here he is drawing the bead on the guy. I guess he goes back to school on Monday, right? And either tells his fellow students or doesn't tell them what he was up to on the weekend. And here's another one. I don't know if it's the same one here. This one, I'll pull off the side here. That's a cool looking design on that robot. I don't read Japanese, so what I do, I just literally, like you're doing, I just visually read it. So I'm not getting all the detail, obviously, of the storyline, but I am following along with the visuals. I don't know if these have ever been reprinted in English, to be honest. I know there was it Antarctic Press, Ben Dunn's outfit? They did some new Gigantor comics. I don't know, in the 80s or 90s. I don't know if they adapted any of the old cartoons, but I've yet to see like an English translation of these. I'm not sure why there isn't. I mean, just based on the popularity of the Gigantor cartoon, you would think a publisher would want to tap into that, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Nostalgia works for us as fans, but maybe for a publisher it's a little risky. So Speed Racer finally got English adaptation a couple of years ago, but of course that had that movie that came out. Having a movie always helps. Much more, it gives them more exposure. Even though the movie did not do financially good at all, and I love the film. So there we have it. Just wanted to share some, random Gigantor comics. Let me pull one out here that's... I'll just pull one off of the corner here that we haven't looked at yet. So 24 volumes. So years ago, I bought a 10-volume set. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And I was happy with it. But then just recently, I found out that the full run is 24 volumes, so I felt cheated. Like, hey, I didn't get the whole 24 volumes. So then, after I read that online, I looked on eBay, and I finally saw somebody had this 24 volume set. So the price was pretty reasonable, and I ordered it. So, like I said, I got it in, and I was like a kid on Christmas, although I didn't open every single one yet. I want to open some, go through them. Because I can, give something to look forward to, right? Hey, I still got like 10 more to open, so here's a nice little spread here. Is this a page of action or? I was wondering if this was like a sequence of action or like highlights. No, I guess it is the same robot. Yeah. I thought maybe it was a different robot, so they're just showing different scenes, but... wow, look at that. Regardless, it's beautiful art. I just love his design. I know they've updated him in the later cartoons, but, they slim him down. It's like, no, I like this big, chunky, bulky, 1950s looking clunky robot. That's the whole charm of it. Plus, he looks like a power lifter, He may not be all trim and cut like a wrestler or something, but he's a big, bulky powerhouse. So there we go. And so that's about it. I just want to run through and share that these are out there. 24 volume, Tetsujin-28 original manga, the whole run from 53 to 64, I think, something like that. Okay, so really quick, let me share one thing with you guys. It's kind of a commercial plug. I have a Kickstarter currently running for a collection of Manga MUERTO. These are stories I did over the years. 2000, 2001, and 2010. I did 3 different stories over the years. So it's basically my character El Muerto, but I kind of reconfigure him as a young high school kid in control of a giant robot. So in this story, Diego de la Muerte is a foreign exchange student from Mexico studying in Japan, and through some little mishap, he gets control of this giant robot Skeletron, which he controls through, back then, it was a flip phone. So, still a flip phone, so it's kind of, I guess it'll look dated to a lot of people. But here's the back cover, and here's the various mechanical monsters that he encounters in the stories. So reprints the 3 stories first one I did, I wrote and penciled it, and it was inked by my friend Rafael Navarro of Sonambulo fame. And then I did a second, longer story, another team up, not just the characters team up, but team up with another friend, Ted Secco, another cartoonist. He brought along his character Skyman, and he inked it. I penciled it. Me and Ted co-plotted it. I wrote the dialogue. He inked it. And yeah, we use his character Skyman right here, and some of his supporting characters and a couple of his villains. And it's El Muerto and Skyman. They take on these monster mechs. There's a nice shot of all our characters together. Here are the monster mechs. So there's robotic legs, and then there's these bioorganic monster parts, like the top part, the torsos, right? So they get pulled out of the tanks and plopped on top of the mechanical legs, and then you got a monster mech. So there's an oyster mech, there's a mantis mech, all kinds of hybrid monster, gorilla mech, iMech. Anyway, that's the one me and Ted. That's the longest story. And then the last story, from 2010, I inked it myself as well as wrote and penciled it. So I finally graduated to full artistic duties on Manga Muerto. It's called A Day at the Beach. Another short story. It also has its origin. Manga Muerto has its own origin, similar to the regular Muerto. Here's how he becomes Manga Muerto. He gets his cell phone. He dials M for Muerto. He yells out the word Muerto because you always got to yell out your power or whatever. And then his costume appears on him, and then he calls in Skeletron. There's also a pinup section with 6 guest artists. At the time I did this proof, I didn't have all the art yet. So, but I've since gotten all the pinups. So they'll all be in the book. Obviously, you're not gonna get a blank page. You know, draw your own pinup. There's the one by Rafael Navarro, the original inker on the first story in 2000. He did this beautiful Skeletron pinup. And Ted Secco, also the second inker on the second book, he also contributed a pinup. And there's a little El Muerto's Space Force pinup, but by me, I did this one. I have one little cool incentive level on the Kickstarter. You can order the book, and you get a little button with it. And there's a different level where you can, for $10 more, you can get your own Tetsujin-28 comic. These are the original ones I had. You see, they're a little smaller, but so I have all 10 volumes of this. But since I got this new set, 24 volume set, I go, well, you know what? I'm going to keep the 10 volume set, and it's perfect timing. I'm making them available to you, so you can order a combo set. You get a Manga Muerto, and then you get a random copy of 1 through 10 of the pocket Tetsujin-28 manga. So if you want to experience some original Tetsujin-28 manga from the 50s and 60s, this is a 1990s reprint series. So you'll get one of these in your envelope if you do this level. Otherwise, you can just get the comic. You can also just get a digital copy of the comic if you don't want to have any clutter in your house. And I also have some incentive rewards for art collectors. My original cover art, the illustration, at least El Muerto and Skeletron. There's this one available. These background images were all from the comic, so I just digitally dropped them in. But this was all hand drawn. And also the back cover art featuring Skeletron and the various monsters. So 2 different options for me, and an option to get a Gigantor comic with your El Muerto if you want. Anyway, thanks for checking out. There's a link to the campaign down below in the description. If you like this video, please subscribe, because I'll be doing more videos this year. And I'm going to try to do a few more throughout the Kickstarter campaign. I have a lot of Japanese comics I want to share, so it kind of makes sense to do that right now. Anyway, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the episode, and hopefully you'll check out the Kickstarter. Thank you.